Hey guys, Huncho. Today we're doing a 15.13 jungle tier list. I'm going to do 2 or 3 different tier lists for different elos because I don't know. I see these tier lists online. It's not accurate in your elo, to be honest. I think if this is Brox's tier list, I don't really agree with a lot of it. And I think he's trying to cover it for every elo, which I don't really agree with. I'm going to do 3 different ones. It's for 15.13 at the July or June 25th patch or whatever. Okay, Amumu automatically S tier in low elo. This champ has everything you need. Amumu is he can CS well. He has really strong ganks. His R is too powerful. He's very tanky, good clear. Yo, Leandri's go tank. Amumu is S tier in low elo for sure. 100%. Brand, I would not recommend low elo. He's too difficult to play. I would put him C or D tier. Honestly, he's good in high elo, not in low. But I think is pretty powerful in low elo. I think she's just, her early game is really nice, which makes her very powerful in low elo. Like, I'm thinking about putting her S, but honestly she's way too difficult to play in low elos. So again, even though it might be really good in higher elos, your mechanical, I understand mechanical abilities can be different. So basically champs with lower mechanical ceilings are going to be stronger. So Amumu is going to be a great pick. He's going to do really well into 80 champs, auto attackers, things like that. He's going to be guaranteed CC. I actually think Amumu is really strong in low. Briar, I think, is pretty strong in low as well. People don't understand how Briar really works. They won't be able to cut her out too easily. If anything, I'll put Bel'Veth into B and Briar into A. I think Bel'Veth's very strong in lower elos. Again, people don't really know how to counter this champ, how to kite her out. And if you can pilot Briar correctly, you're gonna be chilling. Diana, I think, is very powerful as well. I'm honestly debating about putting her into S tier, but I think she has a little bit more mechanical. You need to have a little bit more mechanics to pilot Diana than Amumu. So I think Diana is really strong farming, really strong everything. The only thing she lacks is guaranteed CC. So she might be a bit useless if you're trying to play with CC. But if you're using Diana to just get ahead and get farm lead, you'll be chilling. This champ is really strong in jungle. She just got a nice buff, increasing her damage from her passive a lot. Mundo as well is pretty good. But the thing is, Mundo is kind of hard to play in jungle. So I'm kind of debating whether I put him lower. I'll put him A tier because Mundo is really insane. If you pick Mundo into the correct comp and you're not the greatest Mundo player, you'll still have success because you're going to scale and be a monster. Lower elo games tend to actually be longer, which is great for Mundo. And if you're picking him in the right situations, or if you're OTPing him in low in jungle, you'll have a lot of success. If they have no percent match speed damage, so think Bork, think Bork, think Kog'Maw, Varus, Gwen, Master Yi, Bork, things like that. If they don't have a lot of percent match speed damage, and if they have none, Mundo's going to be a really good pick, and this is going to be really insane. But yeah, your goal with Mundo is kind of similar to Diana. You have no real guaranteed CC. Your goal is to farm, and that's why it's kind of hard to play, because people think Mundo is this super tanky champ with CC. No, you have no CC. You need to make sure you're using your lead properly, and a lot of players don't know how to do that. So that's why I'm debating whether to put him lower. But I think A tier is good for him. I think he's very strong in the right situations. Echo is really powerful. He's kind of similar to Briar. I might actually make a new tier here, and this is gonna be Z tier. I feel like this is gonna be appropriate. Z tier, we can do S plus. We can do S plus, S plus tier, because I think there's a couple champs that are gonna be a bit better than others. I think Amumu might be S plus and low, to be honest. We'll see how it goes. I'm debating whether putting Echo in S, but I think Echo's pretty hard. If anything, he's high B, low A, because Echo is much harder than these champs, and he's gonna be more difficult to pilots. You have not the fastest full clear. You need to actually snowball and get a lead. If you have no lead, it's kind of hard. Think about Echo as Sylas jungle. Sylas is really bad. Where is he? Don't play Sylas. Echo, maybe I'll make another tier here and just don't play. Don't play these champs, bro. Don't play Sylas jungle. He's way too. You need to have some kind of lead. If you don't have some kind of lead, you're cooked. You can't farm your. You literally just can't farm your camps. By the way, your first full clear is you have 320 full clear, but people don't know how to do it either. What color should it be? Make it purple. Okay, make it black. Yeah, don't play Sylas. But yeah, Echo is kind of Sylas, but he's a bit harder. So I'll put these 2 champs in B tier for now. Elise, again, I wouldn't touch Elise if I'm in low. She has CC. It's not guaranteed CC. It's not lockdown CC. Her full clear isn't the best. She has strong dives, but again, she's too hard to play. If you're iron and gold, don't bother playing Elise, in my opinion. Evelyn, however, I think is really powerful. Maybe we'll put Amumu S plus for now. I might change this. Evelyn is really powerful in low. The reason she's so powerful is because of her stealth, her level 6 stealth, right? I think like she's really strong and low. I'd maybe put Evelyn. I'm curious where he put Evelyn. You probably put Evelyn like B tier. Yeah, but in low, Evelyn is really, really powerful. I think if you're able to just run around the map invisible, the enemy team doesn't know where they go, where Evelyn is. It's really, really powerful. You have strong burst. Evelyn items are good. She got a recent buff as well, so I think she's really, really powerful in lower elos, to be honest. People don't know what to do against Evelyn. They don't buy pinks. They don't understand her stealth. It's OP. Fiddlesticks, a pretty low skill ceiling champ. I think is really, really strong. I'm curious for Brox to put Fiddlesticks. He put it in A tier. I agree. Fiddlesticks is one of the strongest champions, honestly, in jungle. He's very simple, very insane full clear, and level 6. He kind of pilots similar to Evelyn, if that makes sense. So I think Fiddlesticks is probably S tier. I wouldn't say S plus tier, but I would say S tier. Just because of his R, it's so powerful. I think people don't know how to play around Fiddlesticks R. Even higher elos, they don't know. So I'll put Fiddlesticks in S tier. He's definitely one of the strongest. Gragas is another pretty mechanical champ. Like, I don't really recommend playing Gragas if you're low. Just play other champs that are simpler, who can accomplish the same things as Gragas. He has no guaranteed CC. You need to land combos. I would not recommend any like combo champs. Graves, same concept. Like, Graves strong early game, but you need to have good spacing. You have good mechanics to really make this champion work. You can't really just run around, and Graves is like not in the best position either. I put him in B tier. I'm curious for Brox to put him. Brox to put him in C tier, and I would actually agree. If anything, like he's too hard to play in low. I think he can go up 1 tier in higher elos, but in low, I would say he's like C tier. Yeah. Graves or Gwen is really, really strong always. I would put Gwen in A tier, honestly. Gwen kind of accomplishes the same thing as Diana, except she's easier to execute. She farms about the same. She's easier to execute. You press W. She's really, really strong to certain matchups. I'll put her high A tier. She did get nerfed like 6 times, but she's still high A tier in my opinion. I still think she's very powerful. Hecarim in lower elos, I'll put him S tier for sure. Hecarim is, I mean, honestly, I would put him A tier, similar to Gwen, because he does need some mechanical, like, you need to like kind of know what you're doing a little bit. I would definitely put him high A tier though, because he can just punish lanes so well. If there's overextended lanes, Hecarim is one of the best punishers. He can really, really just punish overextended lanes, and that's gonna happen every single game in these elos, right? So I'll put him A tier for sure. Ivern, I'm not sure how Ivern is in low. I don't think he's as good as he is in high low, because he relies on teammates too much. I'll probably put him high B tier. I think Ivern is really, really strong in high low, not that strong in low elo, because your teammates are worse. So again, Ivern is a support champion. I would not think he's that good. Jarvan, I think he's A tier as well. He's pretty simple to play. Lower elos aren't able to dodge EQ. If anything, I'll put Jarvan S tier actually. He got some nice buffs. Again, low elo players cannot dodge an EQ, so I would put Jarvan S tier, to be honest. I think he's very, very strong right now, very underrated. I think Agron's gonna abuse it. He's in NA right now, he's gonna abuse it for rank 1, I'm pretty sure. Jack's jungle is just a good counter pick. It's kind of hard to play slow full clear. Not the most guaranteed CC. I'm debating between C and B right now. I think he can be strong in certain matchups and comps, but I think I'll put him high C tier. I don't really recommend him because his full clear is so slow. Karthus, I think Karthus is really, really powerful. Super, super powerful jungler. And lower elos, people don't really know how to dodge Qs. I think I'll put him above hecarim actually. I don't think I'll put him in the S tier because you still need to have some kind of mechanical skill at landing Qs. Kayn, I think Kayn is really, really powerful too. I think Red Kayn is really overtuned, to be honest. I think Red Kayn is super strong. I'm curious where Brox to put him in his tier list. He probably put him in B tier. Yeah, he put him in B tier. I'll put him in A tier in low elo. I think if you just get red form, like, you can just 1v9 games. Like, that champ is really, really strong, especially when they don't know how to dodge W. Red Kayn is really insane. I'd put him just below Karthus like this. Again, he's good full clear champ. You get red form, you're gonna 1v9. Kha'Zix is really sleeper as well. I'll put him high B tier for now. Kha'Zix, maybe he's bottom of the barrel at A. Kha'Zix is really, really strong in certain matchups and ISO matchups. The thing is, like, he's a little bit difficult to play because you need to know when to go in. You're gonna be very squishy usually. But yeah, Kha'Zix super, super powerful, really strong at full clearing, really strong at playing objectives, which is important. Low getting dragons is really important, and like these elos for sure. Kindred, also Kha'Zix invisibility helps him a lot. Kindred is kind of like Graves. I wouldn't put Kindred that high on the list here in low elo, because again, you need to have good space, you need to have good mechanics, you need to have good invade timers. it's not the like a versus if you're playing Kindred versus like a tank jungler, you're gonna struggle because you won't know how to space it. So, and also your team needs to move to marks, which could be annoying. So I don't think Kindred's that good in low elo. I think she's very good in high elo. It's not so much in low. Lee Sin, again, Lee Sin, I would stay away from Lee Sin in low. If you're iron and gold, don't play Lee Sin. Champions that require mechanical abilities like this, they aren't good in low. Like you need to have mechanics. It's not good in low. I'll put him I'll put him above Jax. Like, I don't think you should be playing Lee Sin if you're in these elos. I think once you get higher, or if you just want to have fun, you can play Lee Sin. But Lilia, I think Lilia is really strong. I think she's like maybe a little bit weaker than hecarim. She's definitely A tier. Lilia basically does the exact same as all these champs. Strong full clear. You have good team fighting with your R. But again, maybe I'll put her lower because you need to have good mechanics. You need to have good spacing, good movements. Yo, Squill, appreciate tier 1. You need to have good mechanics, good movements. So it could be kind of annoying if you don't have good mechanics, good movements, right? But yeah, she's a great champion. She has strong full clear. She stays always pretty healthy. Strong passive, the healing. You have a really powerful sleep. You know, the Q flash Q sleep combo into Zonia isn't hard to execute at all and is always pretty high value. So I'll put Lilia definitely an A tier. If you have really good mechanics, she definitely bumps up the S tier. But again, this is for iron to gold. Can you make gold to diamond? Yes, this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a master plus 1 after as well. Massey, very powerful in low. I think Massey is super strong in low elo. I'm kind of curious his win rates. Brox would probably put him like B tier if I had to guess. Yeah, he put it in B tier. I think in low elo, Mastery is very powerful. People don't understand that the actual counterplay to Yi is to kite out his E, right? But a lot of people don't understand this, especially in low elos. They're not going to understand this. If you pick Yi in the right situations, he can definitely be a monster. If they have no lockdown CC, you're going to be a monster that game. I don't think he's that difficult to play. I think Yi has a very high skill ceiling, but he has a pretty low entry level. So I think anybody can kind of pick up Yi and have decent success if you're going in at the right times. I don't think it's too hard. Just watch some Scenarios videos. You'll be chilling. Yi is definitely really good in certain comps. Same with Mundo. These two champs are really OP in certain comps. I think he's pretty good in low elo because people don't understand how much damage he does with his E, but he's kind of hard to play. So if you want to consider him a high A tier, sure. I'm going to consider him low S tier because I think, you know what, let me put him high A tier just because I think people don't know when to pick him. Again, you want to pick him when they have no lockdown CC and they have easy targets to auto attack, right? So if they have a Jax, if they have like a Fiddlesticks, Yi's not the best there because they have CC and they have E, right? Things like that. Maokai, I think Maokai is pretty good. People don't really like play Maokai ever, to be honest. I think he's just solid CC. He's kind of like, he's just a worse version of a Mumu, to be honest. Placing saplings and bushes all the time is very powerful, but low elo players don't really know how to do it. I'd say Maokai's clear is very good as well. He has decent objective take. He's more of a high-low jungler, to be honest. I don't really recommend Maokai if you're playing in low. Maybe I'll put him high C tier, to be honest. I'm curious, Brox would probably put him in... he put him in D tier. Yeah, like Maokai right now is not the best for sure. So I'll put him high C tier. I'll keep him there. Mordekaiser, don't play that champ. Morgana... Morgana is actually a fine jungler. It's just... she's actually a good jungler. She has strong full clear. She stays healthy. Her Qs can be pretty powerful because again, low elo players won't really know how to hit them or dodge them, but Morgana players won't really know how to hit the Qs. That makes sense. So I think Morgana is very powerful in the right hands. I think she can be good if they have low mobility. You press Q on them, it's 2.25 second roots. That's not guaranteed, but if you have other follow-ups CC, it can be very good. I don't really recommend it too heavily, but I think she's actually very powerful, very sleeper. I'm curious about Broxa. Broxa also put in B. I agree with that. Nidalee, again, Nidalee one of those champs. Too mechanical. Don't play Nidalee in low. Like, maybe I'll bump her down to D. I think Nidalee is actually really good in high low right now. Insanely good. She got so many buffs. Maybe I'll put her higher because of that. But I would not recommend any of these mechanical champions because you're just going to struggle on them more than you'll find success. Nocturne as plus tier, I think. Nocturne has strongest... he's kind of like a Mumu. His full clear... not really, honestly. Nocturne's more of like a Lilia or like a Gwen or Fiddlesticks, you know what I mean? Nocturne wants to full clear. He wants to get level 6. He has insane dual potential. He has good items right now. He's really strong in low elo. I think he's just one of the strongest junglers right now. Super underrated. You can get Hexblade, you can get Stride Breaker, strong bruiser items, you can stat check, you can get a 2-second fear guaranteed. You have a nice spell shield, you have easy ganks, you have low CDR. Everything you need in jungle right is on Nocturne. Strong full clear as well. Really insane champ. I mean, Mord isn't that bad, but like I don't recommend playing him. There's so many champs that do things better than Mord, so I'll put him D tier. You can play Morty's decent stat check, but so many champs do things better than him, right? Instead of playing Mordekaiser, just play like a Mumu and low, if that makes sense. But yeah, Nocturne S+ tier, I think he is definitely one of the best 80 junglers right now. It has everything that I mentioned. So Nunu I think is also S tier. Nunu kind of breaks jungle. He doesn't require fundamentals that much. He's kind of like hecarim in a way where you can really punish overextended lanes, right? So Nunu's able to do this very easily. I think he's definitely S tier. He's kind of like Evelyn in a way where he can just always perma gank. Maybe he's better than Fiddlesticks, honestly. Yeah, I would definitely put him S tier. Again, Nunu, you don't need to farm that much. You press Q in your camps, then you go play. Really strong in lower elos when people don't respect it, right? I'm curious, Brox would probably put him where he put him in B tier. It's probably for high low or all region. I think that Nunu is S tier for sure. Nunu is super strong jungler. Poppy, great counter pick. Not the strongest full clear. If you're doing the parry Umbral build, I think she's really powerful. I played it a couple times. Really insane. I would say she's B tier though. I don't think she's that good. I think she's a good counter pick. I think that's maybe she's like honestly low A tier. I think Poppy's actually pretty underrated if you're doing the right build. She has a decent skill ceiling as well. She's not that hard to play. I would put her maybe low A tier. I'm curious where Brox put him. He didn't even include Poppy, did he? He didn't even include Poppy, bro. Oh no, he did. Put her B tier. Maybe I consider putting her low 8 tier, honestly. But she's a really strong counter pick. Your hecarim lover, appreciate it 2 months prime. Thank you, my bro. Rammus got the rework. Honestly, I don't know how good this champion is right now. I have like no idea if the rework was a success. Where did Brox put him? He put him B tier, so it's probably alright. I think he's still probably good into 80 champs. I think Rammus is pretty strong. Definitely better than Kindred and low. Maybe I'll put Kindred down to C tier, honestly. I'll put him like above Valeth. I don't know how the rework hit Rammus. I know he's getting adjustments and changes all the time. Yo, it's good on Orthodox. We're doing tier lists right now for elos. For jungle tier lists for all different elos. I'm not familiar about Rammus. Rek'Sai is another one of those champs where he kind of breaks jungle fundamentals. She kind of breaks jungle fundamentals, but I don't think she's that strong right now either. I would put her just B tier, solid, decent pick. You can one trick Rek'Sai, I think it's fine. She's not the strongest jungler right now, but she's really good at punishing laners that are overextended, which means I'm going to bump her up just a little bit. Maybe even like high B tier, to be honest. Yo, it's good, Josiah. Rengar, stay away from Rengar. If you're low, don't play Rengar. You're not going to have success in this champion ever. Maybe even don't play Graves. These champs require you need to be a complete one trick on Rengar to have success. I think he's actually a very good jungler, but in terms of climbing and in terms of your success, I don't recommend Rengar at all. Sejuani's a bit better. She's a guaranteed CC bot, which is very powerful. Maybe I'll put her B tier above Gragas. Gragas has combos. Sejuani is decent full clear. She has strong CC, easy to land CC, guaranteed CC with her passive, with her W passive or Q passive, whatever it is. I think she's very strong in low. I don't really recommend her that much, but she's very strong. If you have proper setup and you have good carries on your team, it's always decent. But again, I would probably recommend carry junglers better than this. Low elo tier list doesn't make sense. There's actual bad champs and that's like Evelyn. Yeah, Evelyn's OP in low elo. This is a fact. Evelyn's OP in low elo. Iron's gold, people don't understand. Evelyn level 6 OP. You're gonna drop 20 kills every single game playing in this elo, 100%. In high elo, she's not that good. Evelyn's not the best champion right now, but her class of champion is always gonna be good in solo queue. Shaco, automatic S tier, I think. This champ also breaks fundamentals in jungle. You don't need to farm that much. You can permagank. People don't respect stealth because there's already too much going on in the map. I'll put him definitely in S tier, maybe below Fiddlesticks. I think Fiddlesticks more guaranteed value. Honestly, maybe I'll even bump Mundo down because I think Mundo's a lot harder to play than these champs. Put him below. But at Shaco, similar to Nunu, you can just spam gank mid, spam gank top. You can really punish laners that are overextended. He's very similar to hecarim and Nunu, where they can just punish laners that are always overextended. But hecarim's a little bit harder to play than these two champs, so I'm putting him S tier. Very strong, very bursty. You can go AP, you can go full lethality, full crits. You're always gonna deal damage. He has some skill ceiling, but he's very cheesy champion, honestly. Shyvana, I think Shyvana is actually really good right now. Maybe I'll put Shyvana in S tier. Maybe I'll put her in S tier. For sure, she's high A tier. I'm debating with a low S tier. She has strong full clear. She has Shojin Leandri spike, which is really insane. Strong objective taking. In a way, Shyvana is just the worst Nocturne in my opinion. So I'm gonna leave her an A here. I think her full clear is really strong, but I think a lot of players in this elo, they don't understand how to use that full clear to their advantage. Shyvana doesn't have the strongest ganks pre-6, so like you're kind of forced to full clear, which maybe I'll bring her down a little bit because you're forced to full clear, and I think a lot of people don't know how to do that correctly. So Shyvana, just the worst Nocturne in my opinion. She's one trickable, but I think she's just the worst Nocturne. And if you play to her strength, she can be very powerful. If you don't play to her strength, she's not gonna be that powerful. Skarner, I think Skarner's not great jungler right now. I put him bottom barrel C. Like if you're gonna play tank, just play Amumu. Like Amumu is 10 times easier than Skarner, and he accomplishes the exact same things. Right? He's a CC bot. Amumu is just better. Amumu is just way better. I'll put Amumu or Nocturne in front of like that actually. But yeah, Skarner not in the best position right now. They gutted him, thankfully. The Skarner incident of season 14-15, those who know. Yeah, C tier. Play any other tank right now, to be honest. We'll get some more tanks later. Talia, a harder champion. I'll put her C tier. I think Talia is a very strong jungler. Lower level players will not know how to play this champion correctly, so I'm gonna put her in C tier because I think she requires good spacing. But if you have setup, she's pretty easy. But if you don't have setup, it's going to be very difficult to play Talia. Why is Lee so low? It's an iron to gold tier list. That's Talia. I think she's very strong, but not in these elos. Again, I'm trying to put myself in a position where I'm an iron to gold player, and I'm playing these champs. You're not going to have very much success on Talia. Next champ, Talon. I think Talon's very strong. Very strong jungler right now. But in low elos, he's kind of more difficult to pull off. I would put him A tier for sure, guaranteed. The reason being is because he's very similar to hecarim, Shaco, and Nunu, where he's good at punishing laners that are overextended, right? Similar to Kayn a little bit. He can punish really well because of his E, but he has like he has 2 combos that he needs to know. So that's like the only thing. But I think he's definitely A tier. I think he's easier to play than hecarim. I think he's better than hecarim. If you're going bruiser talent, you're gonna have a lot more success, honestly. Maybe I'll put him above Kayn too. I like this positioning here. So I think Talon's A tier. I like this. Strong ganks, strong farming. But he's an assassin, which is a little bit more difficult to play. But his E is a nice safety net, which is nice. Teemo jungle. This pick is I'm debating whether I put him in don't play category. I think you should not really play Teemo. I'll put him in D tier because he can be a decent counter pick, I guess. Like just why play Teemo when you can play Gwen? Why play Teemo when you can play all these champs above him? You know what I mean? Teemo jungle is a good counter pick if they have 5 auto attackers, I guess. Same with Trundle. I would not recommend Trundle in low elo. I think Trundle is a very good jungler. He's prevalent in pro play. He's prevalent in high elo sometimes. But in low elos, I mean, maybe I'll put him above. Like I think Trundle's raw power is pretty powerful. Put him above Skarner for sure. There's no way Trundle's worse than Skarner. I think. Yeah, I'll put Trundle C tier because, again, he has strong stat check. He can duel anybody, but his position in the jungle, his role in the jungle is kind of awkward. You're not a side laner, you're not a split pusher. Trundle's role in high elo is to use your pillar to create opportunities. And in low elo, that's not really going to happen much, to be honest. If you pillar, not a lot of people will follow up. So I'll put him in C tier, high C tier here. I think he's good at stat checking, but other than that, there's other champs that do his job better in the jungle. So I'll put him high C tier. Udyr is really strong right now, I think. Well, he's not actually really strong, but Udyr itself is always going to be a strong champion, if that makes sense. So I'll put Udyr high A tier for now. I think he's pretty simple to play. He has decent skill ceiling, knowing when to use your Awakened. Bro, you watch like one or two Udyr videos, you'll be chilling. I think he's a solid OTP champ. I'm going to put him a bit below Karthus, I think, and Talon. I'll put him right above Kayn here. I think he did get hit with a lot of nerfs, Leandri's nerfs, but I still think he's completely viable. I still think he's completely 100% viable. I'll put him A tier. I'm curious where Brox to put him actually. Probably lower in B tier here. Yeah, Brox to put him in B tier. I don't completely disagree. I think he's better in low elo than he is in high elo because people, once you get to high elo, people understand how to kind of play it. Viego is one of the most popular junglers. I think a lot of people don't know how to play Viego correctly. If I'm this low elo, Viego is a bit more difficult to play in my opinion. You need to know when to go in, you need to know how to teamfight correctly, and you need to not waste your W's and stuff and have good position with your E. I'll put Viego in actually B tier. This might be controversial, but I think Viego is a bit more difficult to pull off in low elos because you need to actually understand how to play Viego. And I think you just, instead of playing Viego, play Nocturne. I think Viego is very strong, But in terms of actual climbing and in terms of how he is in that elo, I don't think Viego's all that. I think he's B tier. He has like good punishing. I guess you can maybe put him low A tier, but like, yeah, I don't think he's like, he's a bit too difficult to pull off in these elos in my opinion. You need to have good game. I'm gonna put him B tier because you need to have good game knowledge. You need to have of all the champions of how to get the resets off. You need to understand that resets are your main focus. I think in higher elos, Viego's very, very good, but not so much in low, very, very low elo. Vi, I think Vi is gonna be a guaranteed A here. How high in A, I'm not sure. I think she's gonna go above hecarim. I know she's been getting these nerfs lately. That's not real nerfs. Vi is always gonna be good. Her champion is always gonna be strong. I think in lower elos, again, like you press Q on bot lane, you press R on the ADC, and the ADC is dead. So I think for sure Vi is, yeah, A tier. She has strong full clear, strong ganks. You play off the R timer. She's similar to Nocturne. I think she's a little bit more difficult than Nocturne because you actually have a skill shot to land. You have to play with your shield timing, and you have to play with your R. You have to understand who to R. Not very difficult champ, but a little bit harder than Nocturne in my opinion. Volibear guaranteed A. I think Volibear is going to be S tier here. He's easier to play than Mundo, easier to play than Jarvan. I think Volibear is going to be S tier. I'm going to put him right here. Volibear, strong as full clear, strong as dueling. As long as you're not wasting your spells, you're going to be able to really, really duel anybody. Maybe even S plus for Volibear. I'm curious. Yeah, like Broxa puts him S for every elo. I might put him S plus here. I'm debating on it. Is he stronger than Evelyn? I don't think Evelyn should be this high, low key. I'm kind of griefing. But she's still S tier for sure. I think Volibear, you can even debate Volibear as S plus here. Again, the strongest dueling. He's so powerful. I'm gonna queue it up here actually. Read Wikipedia. This counts D2. Okay. But yeah, Volibear S tier for sure. Strongest dueling, strong full clear. I'm honestly debating whether I put him in S plus tier, but the thing is, I believe Volibear has a decent skill ceiling. He's not the easiest champ to play, but he's easy enough where I put him S tier. He's so strong right now. But the thing is, itemizing on Volibear is a bit tricky. I think players don't know how to itemize correctly. I'd recommend watching Arctheos, Aribo, or Perry Jungle. I think they cover good builds on him, solid builds on him, monster guides on Volibear, and you'll have success on the champion for sure. He's definitely one of the top 5 best junglers in low elo. Warwick, I think Warwick's actually pretty powerful in low as well. Warwick's kind of similar to like Evelyn. People don't really understand how the champ works. I'll put him in A tier. I think in higher lows would be B tier, but put him in A tier. I'll put him below Talon, I think. Yeah, like Warwick's very strong. He's not the strongest full clear, but he's very similar to Talon, Hecarim, Shaco, Nunu, where he has the ability to punish laners that are really overextended. So that's the idea on Warwick. I think he's strong, but he's not that strong. He's easy to play. Yi is not S, at least for Iron Gold. My reasoning behind this, I think he could be S tier in certain counter picks, but he is a little bit difficult to play. Yi is not that easy to play. In some comps, when you have the right pieces around you, he's very easy to play, but sometimes he can be difficult to play, so I put him high A tier. I think low S tier is fair too. Okay, Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao is a nice mix between you need good mechanics, and Xin Zhao kind of has everything. Strong early game, strong farming, strong scaling. I think Xin Zhao I would put bottom A tier. He's a little bit easier to play in my opinion than Viego, because you have the safety net. You have the safety net of Xin Zhao R, right? I would say he's above Kha'Zix, easier to play than Kha'Zix. I put him below Diana. I think it's a fair place. He is very strong. He's similar to Nocturne in some ways. His ganks aren't the most powerful, and you need to land your W though, so that's the thing. So you have to land W. If you don't have setup to land W, it could be difficult, but if it's not that hard to land W on these lower elo players, so I think having Xin Zhao A tier like this is fair. I think he's solid. I think he's solid. Just his initial first clear is lacking. Zac, I would not play Zac if you're low elo. He does, I mean, to be honest, he has decent gank potential, but I think Zac is not the best champion in the jungle right now. I say he's a bit better than Trundle. This might sound weird, but Zac is like, he's good at punishing lanes. Maybe you can get it with low beats here. Surely he's better than Balvath, right? But yeah, the reason is Zac's not the best champ right now. I think he's a bit more difficult to play early game. You need to full clear, get the first full clear off. Then after you can start punishing lanes like crazy, and then he becomes more like Nunu. You can break jungle fundamentals. It's just the early game is a bit rough. The early game's a little bit rough in my opinion. Other than that, I think he's strong. If you can get past the early game, he's definitely A tier. You punish lanes like crazy, but early game is a little bit rough, honestly. So that's why I put him. Maybe I'll put him above Ramus. But yeah, I don't really recommend him too much in low. I don't really recommend him too much right now. He's not the worst. Zed is an interesting champion. He falls into the category of like Mundo, where your playstyle is very similar to Mundo, right? You want to full clear, use that full clear to your advantage. But the thing is, he's not guaranteed scaling. You need to land your skill shots. You need to have some kind of knowledge of what to do. Mundo can be more brain dead if you put yourself in the right position. Zed's not as brain dead. I would put Zed in high C tier, low B tier. I think playing assassins like this, like if you're gonna play Zed, just play Talon, in my opinion. Talon's a lot more forgiving than Zed. Zed doesn't have the best ganks. You need to use your W's correctly. His playstyle is a bit different. You're really playing similar to Mundo, but you just don't have that guaranteed safety net of scaling, right? Mundo is insane scaler. Zed is also a really good scaler, but you need to be using his full clear timing. Like he has the fastest full clear in the game, but you really have to be using that efficiently in order for him to be viable. So I put him in B tier. He's not the easiest to execute in the jungle at all. So I put him B tier. I put him below Gragas. I think this is fair. Zyra, insane jungler, but not that insane in low elo. If I'm Iron and Gold, I'm staying away from Zyra, to be honest. I think she's very powerful, but very similar to Zed, where you need to abuse the fact that you have a really fast full clear, and if you don't, you're going to fall behind and be lackluster. So I think Zyra is an amazing champion in jungle, but I don't recommend her in low elo at all. I don't think she's powerful in low elo. I think her strengths are not going to be used properly in low elo. People won't know how to full clear. Unless you study the full clear and you get it down, then you can start invading like crazy. You can get some tempo advantage plays. If you want to OTP Zyra jungle, you can. It's not that she's a bad champion. She's great. It's just in low elo. It's a little bit more iffy in my opinion. I feel like Zed with Dance brain that full clear is broken in low elo with Cycle Sword and Hubris. Kind of, but I think it's too hard to execute this champ. His clear is very easy though, so. But just being like, I don't really recommend Zed if I'm low. Wukong, I think Wukong is pretty good right now, honestly. Wukong and Xin Zhao are very, very similar. Just Wukong, his early game is a little bit like, I wouldn't say it's not as strong as Xin Zhao. Xin Zhao is more of a safety net. Wukong is insanely strong at level 6. I would say Wukong and Xin Zhao are very, very similar champions. They function the exact same. Their purpose in jungle is the exact same. So everything I said for Xin Zhao kind of applies to Wukong. Wukong is very, very strong at level 6. His combos are kind of simple. Just QB for your R and you'll be chilling. I don't know why Shaco is above Warwick. I think Shaco is just a lot more punishing than Warwick. Honestly, this is a good point. Warwick and Shaco kind of do the same thing in low elo. They just punish laners. So you could move Warwick up a little bit. Maybe you can move him above Talon. Actually no, I like where he is right now. But yeah, they kind of do the same thing. Shaco just, Warwick's easier to pull off, but Shaco's just more cheese, and you can get such a big lead on this champ. People really don't respect South. So Pantheon, I think Pantheon's a great champion. I think he's at least A tier. How high in A tier? I think he's easier than Kha'Zix. I think Pantheon's easier than, I would say Pantheon is very, very similar to Wukong and Xin Zhao. Same kind of concept here. My Pantheon strong, very, like, you just full clearance champ, you get level 6 and you play for, I'm mid. I might just dodge then if he doesn't give me jug. Yeah, so Pantheon very similar to Wukong Xin, except he's kind of similar to Nocturne as well. He's very, very strong. Honestly, I might move him up a little bit because I think his W stun is really, really strong. I might move him above Karthus, to be honest. And as somebody mentioned in chat, I might move Karthus down a bit because Karthus, I think you need to actually land Qs. He's kind of a brain dead Folker champ like Zed, so I might move Karthus down below Wukong and Xin Zhao. I like this better. But yeah, I would put Pantheon very high in A tier. Very simple to play. I think he's easier to play than Yi. Maybe Pantheon's S tier actually. This might be ridiculous. Do you really want to encourage players to play Warwick? Well, I'm putting him in A tier. I think if you play Warwick, you can have very good success. That's what it is. I think Pantheon might actually be S tier because he's just Xin Zhao / Wukong, but he's guaranteed CC, which is W, and guaranteed CC is OP and low elo. So I'm gonna put him above Mundo because I think Pantheon's better than Mundo a little bit. Maybe above Jarvan, it's guaranteed. Maybe even above Shaco. Pantheon's insane champ. Yeah, I like this. I like this for sure. Yeah, Pantheon. He's Xin Zhao Warwick, but he has a Nocturne R and he has insane dueling with W. As long as you learn some of the kind of combos, he'll be fine. There's not really any combos. Just watch the spear shot video. You'll be chilling. Yorick, I don't recommend playing Yorick. He gets changed way too much. There's too many changes with Yorick. You shouldn't OTP this champ. I think the Yorick jungle is very fake. I think it's not good. It's not good in high-low. I don't see it in high-low. I don't see this ever. Don't play Yorick jungle, to be honest. Darius jungle, one of the champs as well, where I don't like recommend playing Darius jungle either. His role is kind of different in the jungle than it is for top lane. You're not this all-in champ. You take phaser. It's weird. Darius jungle is weird. I don't recommend it. I'll put him in D tier, maybe above Rengar, to be honest. Or I'll put him high D tier. I don't see how someone on Trundle can gain more LP than people that spam Panche 4. Well, that's why Trundle is C tier, right? Nefiri? Okay, Nefiri, interesting. I think Nefiri is... I don't know if I'll put her A tier. She's kind of... Okay, I didn't get jungle. He's playing Darius jungle. As I said, Darius jungle sucks, so I'm gonna dodge this one. But I think Nefiri is interesting. I'll put her 8 here. She's easier to play in Kha'Zix. I think she's above Briar. I think Nefiri's kit's nice. Her full clear is nice. It's very safe. You have decent ganks with R. I'm gonna do another tier list after this for gold to diamond, and I'll do a master plus one as well. But yeah, I would think that Nefiri is kind of similar to a Talon in a way, where you have lots of mobility, but you don't have as much damage as Talon. But she's kind of beginner friendly. I like Nefiri a lot. Her clear is very simple. You can't really get invaded. You're always healthy. Nefiri is very, very chill champion, honestly. This is for iron and gold. Okay, Shen jungle. I don't recommend playing this champ either. Shen is just more of a team reliant champion. You need to be using your R. You have to give him the Shen. Don't play Shen. Don't bother with it. Olaf, I wouldn't even bother with these champs either. I think Rumble, I actually think he's a very good jungler. I'll put him above Zyra, but like Rumble, you need to have good knowledge of your heat usage. You need to have you don't have strong ganks. You need to actually have good positioning. Rumble is too difficult to play in low elo, in my opinion. I think Olaf is kind of similar to Rumble, where he can be very, very strong in the right hands in certain matchups. But again, like, why play Olaf when you can just play Nocturne? If that makes sense. But yeah, Shen, York, Silas, I would not play these. I don't think you can read the thing, but it says don't play. I would not really recommend playing these type of champions in jungle. I think it's kind of iffy. Okay, this is loyal tier list. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's pretty accurate. If you're iron to gold, let me think if anything else should be an S plus, to be honest. Yeah, I think everything here is pretty accurate. Nocturne and a Mumu. I'm curious what. So Broxa puts at least an S plus. I think Broxa might have the worst tier list of all time, to be honest. Nah, no flame Broxa. I love Broxa. But Jarvan, I would not put an S plus. Volibear S plus. I think, yeah, if anything, Volibear can go S plus. I'm okay with this. I think he's super, super underrated. And although even like Nunu could be S plus, so this is not ridiculous, right? Any of these champs in the high S plus category, they're all interchangeable in my opinion. I think, yeah, this is just a solid tier list. Of course, things are subject to change. This is my opinion. This is, if I was a low elo player, this is the champs I would play if I really wanted to prioritize getting LP. Why Jack C tier? I explained this earlier, but I'll explain again briefly. Slow full clear, not really guaranteed TC. His role is better in top lane. He's much more simple in top lane. His role in jungle is a bit more complicated, and he's only good into counter picks. I don't really recommend Jack's. Full clear is so slow. Why is Mundo S tier? Amazing jungle champ, but I think if anything, Mundo could go down to A tier. Again, playing Mundo is not that easy in jungle. He's kind of bait. So if me telling you to play Mundo, you might get fooled. Amumu, I still think Amumu maybe is S plus, to be honest. I'm curious where Broxa puts Amumu. Amumu puts him in B, which I agree with in high low, but in low I think Amumu might be S plus, to be honest. No Zeri on the list. All right. Okay, next tier list we're gonna do is gold to diamond, or plat to diamond, I guess. Plat to diamond or gold to diamond? Which one makes more sense? Let's do a midi low one here. Make it like green. Plat to diamond. Okay, we'll do plat to diamond. Plat to diamond. Okay, should I restart this entire tier list from scratch, or should I go with what I have right now and adjust it accordingly? Adjust it, restarts. Adjust it, adjust it. I think I'm just gonna adjust it. Adjust slash shuffle. I think that's gonna be more because I want to make this into one YouTube video. Alright, for the second tier list here, we're gonna do mid elo. So if you're plat, emerald, or diamond, this tier list is gonna apply to you. These are gonna be the best junglers in your elo. I'm just gonna adjust the low elo tier list that I made. And yeah, we'll get started. Nocturne, I think he stays S plus. Volibear, I think he was also gonna stay S plus. Amumu, I'm gonna shift him down to S here. Amumu, he loses value as players get better because Amumu is not going to be able to do the same things that he was doing in low elos, right? People are going to understand, okay, I can just punish his early game and kind of get a tempo lead that way, right? So I think maybe I move Amumu down to A. I would honestly maybe even lower. We'll see as we move more champs, but Amumu definitely loses a lot of value. I would still keep Volibear in S plus, or maybe move him down to S. I think Nunu is still amazing. Evelyn, this is where she also loses value when you're reaching these elos. I'm definitely gonna move her bottom of the barrel of A. Yeah, I think Nocturne and Volibear can stay S plus. You can argue Volibear goes down to S. I think Nunu stays. Nunu is still amazing. Maybe you can move him down a little bit. I still think he's really good at punishing lanes, doing the exact same things as he is doing in lower elos. People don't respect Nunu, right? Shaco, I think Shaco still stays in S tier as well. I think he's still so amazing at punishing lanes. Maybe you can move him down a little bit, but I think, yeah, Shaco starts to like get stronger in Emerald, if anything, because people start developing egos and start overextending. But Fiddlesticks, I think Fiddlesticks could maybe move down a little bit as well. People start understanding a little bit, okay, Fiddlesticks I should be mindful of that. So they start being a little bit more cautious. But I still think like Fiddlesticks is really, really amazing jungler, underrated. I think he's secretly OP. He's been OP for like 2 years, but he's very low play rate, so he doesn't get touched like that. Pantheon, I still want to keep Pantheon in S. I really think Pantheon's an underrated jungler. I don't know why he's not been changed in a while. I think Pantheon's a really OP champ. Spear Shot's gonna tell you this himself, yo. Spear Shot is an OP champ. I think he's very, very strong. I'm gonna keep Pantheon happily here in S. As you start developing mechanics, Pantheon only gets stronger as you learn the Q range, as you learn when to W, when to E properly, using power to E, as you get better camera movement and get perfect Rs. Pantheon really has it all in jungle. He's just a little bit harder to play than Nocturne, in my opinion. That's that. Jarvan, I think, is very, very powerful as well. Even Diamond and Plat, Emerald, Diamond, people won't really know how to dodge Jarvan EQ as well. So keeping him S tier, I like that as well. Mundo, okay, I might move him down here. Mundo, I want to put Mundo into S tier, but this is mainly because he is OP into certain comps, if that makes sense. Mundo is OP into certain comps, but if you draft him in certain comps, he's S plus tier for sure. But I'm gonna keep him high A tier, I think, because you're not always gonna get a perfect comp for Mundo, and I still think like maybe I really want to put him low S tier, but I think it's kind of bait. I don't want to bait you guys, so I'm gonna keep him high A tier here. I still think he's really amazing in certain comps. He has an insanely fast full clear, 259 full clear if you start blue buff, do it efficiently. I should probably upload that on YouTube, actually, the Mundo full clear. That's a good idea. What about Tarek? Alright, bro, he's got cliff farming. Part of playing Mundo is a draft, I agree. So I'm gonna keep him high A tier. I think he's very strong. I might move Yi down a little bit. I'm gonna talk about these champs first. But yeah, Mundo high A tier I think is fine. Amumu, he starts to lose value. We kind of talked about it. I might even put Amumu into B. Evelyn, I don't even think Evelyn is gonna be in A tier after I'm done adjusting using champs. We'll see. Lilia, I'm gonna move Lilia up a little bit as you start developing mechanics. I think Lilia is super sleeper pick. People don't really play Lilia. She's very underrated. I'll put her definitely higher than Yi. Maybe I'll put her top of A tier for now. I don't think she's quite S tier yet. I'm curious where Broxah put her. Broxah put her into A tier as well, but his tier list is a bit different than mine. Okay, next champ, Kha'Zix. I think Kha'Zix starts to get... I think Kha'Zix is really underrated, man. Kha'Zix literally is super underrated. These champs aren't played enough. I think Kha'Zix is really good into certain comps. Like, if you play Kha'Zix well, he can be insane. But just as a champion, I'll put him slightly... I'll move him up a little bit. But in a Fury, I would move down a little bit. I don't think a Fury is that powerful, but she could be good. Hecarim, I'm going to move up a lot. I think Hecarim is going to be top of 8. I think hecarim starts moving to S tier here. As you start developing good mechanics, good fundamentals, hecarim can do what these champs can do full clear, and he can do it better. He has better ganks, he has better opportunities to play, maybe even above Fiddlesticks. You can put him below Shaco. Hecarim definitely moves up into S tier here. As you start developing better movement, like hecarim becomes really insane in the right hands. Especially because he's so good at punishing lanes. He's kind of like Nunu, except if Nunu could hyper carry, if that makes sense. So I would say he's a bit better than Lilia. Yeah, that's that. Yi, I think Yi is in a pretty good position on A tier here. Maybe I'll move him down a little bit. Broxa has him at B. I don't completely disagree with that, honestly. I think Yi moves down a little bit to like maybe below Kha'Zix, to be honest. But yeah, Yi's very good into certain drafts. Just in general, if you pick him every game, he might not have great success, but in certain drafts he's good. Xin Zhao, Wukong, Diana. I think I might want to move Diana up a little bit. Her folk is so powerful. Vi's in a fine position. Shyvana moves down a little bit, I think. Shyvana might even go down to B tier here. I think there's other champs that do better than Shyvana. Shyvana's just better than Loilo. I'll get to B tier soon. Kayn, I'm gonna keep Kayn where he is. Kayn's A tier champ. Ross, OP. I think as you get into higher elos, he's a little bit harder to play. So I might move him below Karthus, and I might want to move Karthus up a little bit as well. I'm gonna move Karthus up above Udyr, above Warwick, because as you get better mechanics, you start to actually use Karthus properly. AFK full clear, you land your Qs, press R, you win. Warwick, I'm gonna move down a little bit. I don't think Warwick jungle was that good. Maybe I'll put Warwick into B tier as well, and maybe even Evelyn into B tier, because this Evelyn champ is OTP champ, if that makes sense. So Evelyn low A tier, high B tier. Warwick, people start to understand what Warwick does, and they start actually kiting him and not falling for his silly ganks. So that's why I'm gonna move him down to B tier. What else here that I don't like in A tier? Udyr, I think is fine in A tier. As people start to realize what his Awaken does, it's going to be hard to play him, but I think I can move him down a little bit. I still think he's better than Yi Kha'Zix though, so I'm happy with this. Town, A tier for sure. Gwen, I'll still keep him in A tier. Mundo, I might shift down a little bit, down towards like Kha'Zix, because again, he's just very good in certain comps, certain drafts. You can't really pick Mundo. You're not going to be able to pick Mundo every game, and he's not that good into certain junglers. If you're against Gwen, Yi, you're going to struggle a lot, right? So I'm gonna window down a little bit, but overall A tier looks pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with this. I think it's pretty accurate. Not too many changes from Loilo, from Iron to Gold, but there's a lot more champs we gotta get into. So moving on to B, Viego automatically goes up to A tier. I think Viego becomes very strong. I'll put Viego right below Talon here. I think Viego is one of the best true junglers. But the thing is, just TLDR, how to play Viego. You bait your teammates, you play for KD, and you get the resets, and you play slow. Viego is so powerful if you're just playing for these resets. As you start getting into Plat, Diamond, Emerald, you'll start to have a better understanding of what champions do, how to actually utilize Viego's resets, how to teamfight in Viego, how to use his strong dueling potential, land your W's, position with the E. So many things you can do with Viego. I think he's very strong as you start to understand how to play him, and how to understand how to play jungle at like a Plat to Diamond level. So Viego automatically goes up to A for sure. Rek'Sai, I'm going to keep Rek'Sai at B. I don't think, if anything, Rek'Sai gets a little bit worse because people start to understand like how to avoid Rek'Sai. Curious where Rek'Sai, he has it at B as well. Yeah, I agree with that. Like, it's not much. Why play Rek'Sai when you can play all these champs above him, right? Next champ I want to move up though. Ivern goes up to A tier for sure. Ivern definitely becomes stronger. I would put Ivern above Mundo for sure. I would say he's strongest in Master Plus, but that's a conversation for the next tier list. But Ivern definitely A tier. This is where Ivern's strength starts to shine. Some of your teammates are going to be able to carry a little bit. If you have a strong ADC, strong mid laner, Ivern can be very powerful. You abuse his fast full clear. You abuse the fact you can take the enemy's buff whenever you want, right? Abuse these facts. Ivern's very powerful. He got the buff. You can even go full AP Ivern. I've been seeing that lately. Ivern is very strong, and as you start getting higher elo, I think he's a very underrated champ. They should remove him though, because Ivern's a tumor to the game of League of Legends, but that's a conversation for a different video. Anyways, next champ might want to move up. I think Echo might be deserving of an A tier spot, honestly. I'm gonna move Zac down, and I'm gonna move Rammus down, and I will talk about that in a second. I think Echo, I might want to move Echo up. I'm gonna move Sejuani down as well. I think I don't know if I want to move Echo up or not. I'm gonna move Bel'Veth up a little bit. This elo is where Bel'Veth starts to get a lot more powerful. I might replace Belveth and Mumu here. Belveth starts a carry jungler is going to be a lot stronger in as you start getting higher elos, right? So Belveth, I would say, fits into maybe above Ivern, to be honest. As you get into higher elos, you're actually going to be able to utilize Belveth's strengths to your advantage and start snowballing games, right? So yeah, I'll put Belveth into A tier now. I think as you start understanding how to play her, she's very strong, and you could argue she's even stronger than Vi, things like this. I'm not completely mad at it. I think Belveth, she just had the R buff, the R range buff. I think she's pretty sleeper. I would definitely put her high A tier here. If you want to put her very high A tier, you could. I'm pretty happy with her next to Cartus and Diego. This is a good position in my opinion. Next we have well, I was at B tier here. So Amumu, I'm gonna move Amumu down. I think Amumu is actually, he's happy in high B tier here. Shyvana, it's good here. Zed, I think Zed can start going up a little bit. I really think Zed is strongest master plus. I might move Zed high B, maybe low A. Again, he is fastest full clear in the game, but utilizing that full clear to your advantage, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard, honestly. It's not the easiest champ. Just because it's fast full clear doesn't mean it's easy. You actually have to understand how to play Zed, which can be difficult. Zed's not the easiest champ. You need to know your combos really well. If you want to improve at Zed though, go watch BZ. Shout out my boy BZ from EU West. Best Zed in the West. Go watch him. I like his YouTube videos. Next. Yeah, everything in B tier looks pretty solid. Morgana and Poppy, I don't really think they belong here. I think as you get higher elos, Morgana gets lower value. Dodging a Q becomes pretty easy. But a good Morgana, she did get the R buff, honestly. I think she's pretty sleeper. Broxy put her in B. I guess you can keep her in B because she got the R buff, movement speed. I think she's pretty sleeper, honestly. Why Diana is an S tier? Yeah, honestly, that's a good question. I think Diana... And Diana's one of those champs. Like, you have to look at S tier. All these champs have really insane, either have really insane full clear or really insane ganks. Diana has really insane full clear, ganks are lackluster, right? Diana is just a little bit worse version of hecarim. So I'm gonna keep her in A tier. I'm not gonna put her in S tier. Next champ, going on to B tier. While I was on Poppy. Poppy, I still think she's in a good spot here on B. If anything, she moves up. Where did Roxa put him? B tier? Yeah, if anything, she moves up a little bit. I think she's higher value than Rek'Sai. Maybe higher value than Warwick Evelyn. So I'm happy with Poppy in high B tier here. Not the craziest champ, good counter pick, solid ganks. Next champ, Gragas. Gragas is super sleeper. I don't think he's that good of a jungler right now. I'll keep him bottom C tier, he's fine. For the reasons I stated in the earlier tier list. Zac loses value as you start climbing in ranks because you can't get away with cheese ganks. So I'm putting bottom of C tier. I think he's better than, like, I think he's happy there. Sejuani goes with Zac. Rumble is okay. It's not the best jungler right now. Maybe you can get Rumble in higher than Gragas. Where did Broxy put Rumble? He doesn't have Rumble here, does he? He doesn't have Rumble, bro. You forgot a champ, buddy. What the fudge? Okay. Yeah, we'll keep Rumble at B tier. I think he's pretty sleeper, honestly. Rammus, I'm not sure. Zyra. This is where Zyra starts gaining a lot of value because in higher elos, you're able to utilize that fast full clear. You're basically Zed, but you're long range with a really annoying slow. You can get nice items, get nice anti-heal. I'm gonna move Zyra up into A tier here for sure. I'm gonna move her above. I mean, it's only Plat, Diamond, Emerald, right? So I don't think she's that insane. I'll put her right below Mundo. This is where her full clear starts to become very strong. Where did Broxy put Zyra? I'm curious. Put a B tier. I would put her in A tier. This full clear on this champ is insane. If you actually OT Zyra, it's 1v9. It's really 1v9. Okay. Next champ on C tier here. Talia gains a big boost of value. I'm gonna put her high B tier. I think she's very good if you have setup. Oh, also Briar should not be A tier, by the way. Briar gets pushed down all the way to C tier in my opinion. This champ has a lot of counterplay, and once you start climbing elos, you understand how to counterplay it, right? Just kite her out, and she can't do anything. And dodge her E or W, whichever is the push scream. Dodge that when you're chilling. Next champ. Let me log into League. Let me queue it up as well, bro. I've been talking way too much. Let me queue it up. Yo, editor, cut this out. Put some like Subway Surfers on the screen or something. Let me log in. So what questions do you have on this tier list so far? What's my login credentials? What account do I want to get on? I want to get on this one. I can't log in, yo, on a freaking packet. What is this? There you go. See, do you suggest one freaking Nocturne? I don't, like... I suggest you play what you find fun. To be honest. I'm just stating what I think is very good in certain elos, best junglers right now. This is not me saying you should one-trick Nocturne. This is me saying I think you should one-trick what you find fun, right? Okay, moving on with the tier list. We're back. We logged in. We're gonna get in queue in a second. Where was I? I was on B tier, C tier. I think Echo's fine in B tier. What did Broxah put Echo? I'm curious. He put him in A tier. That's interesting. He is a very, very good snowballing champion. I think if anything, he's better than Talia. So I'd be down to move Nocturne bottom of the barrel A tier. I think he's better than a Fury. Worse than Kane. I'm pretty happy with that, honestly. Very, very good snowballing. Echo's the better Evelyn, in my opinion. So it's right that he's above Evelyn here. Zed and Mumu, Poppy, these all look good. This all looks good. Okay, C tier, Briar. Briar is definitely C tier. Trundle, this is all good. Kindred gets a lot of value here. Kindred automatic A tier. As you start getting better, you get better mechanics. You can really use Kindred's power. I think she's gonna be low A tier, to be honest. She did have a really nice buff lately. I think if anything, you can move her into mid A tier. What did Broxah? Broxah probably put Kindred into A tier as well. Yeah. So I think she brings higher value than the Fury, but I'm not really comfortable putting her higher than this. I think as you get to higher elo, Kindred becomes better, but again, I think she's a little bit too difficult to execute correctly. So I'll keep her in A tier like this though. I'm pretty happy with that. Next champ we have Nidalee, same concept as Kindred. I think Nidalee is very, very powerful. She just got double buffs for MSI for some reason. Nidalee mids can be very prevalent. She's very strong right now. I think I'm not comfortable putting her any higher than this though, because again, you need really good mechanics to pull this champ off. I don't think she's not very easy at all. She doesn't bring a lot of value to the table unless you're really good at landing, if you have setup for landing spears, or you have good understanding when to invade and abuse enemy jungler. Nidalee is not really just a full clear AFK champion. She has very powerful heal though and decent utility, I guess, with traps and vision. She gets better as you get higher low. A tier is fine for Nidalee. Whether you want to put her above Lilia, that's your opinion, but I think this is my opinion. This is fine. Next champ that I might want to change, Lee Sin. Kind of the same as Nidalee Kindred. This is where mechanics start to get a little bit better. Lee Sin, very, very strong champion. I think he gains a lot of value as you increase in elo. I think he's better than Nidalee. I think he's better than Kindred. I think he's better than Echo, and he's better than Kane. I'll put him in this position here. Not bad. Not bad. Lee Sin is very, very strong stat check champ. You don't need crazy mechanics on this champ, but mechanics to help you out a lot if you're able to get insects, if you're able to ward hop cleanly. So A tier for Lee Sin, maybe even above Zyra, honestly. Like you can even argue Lee Sin above like Renekton to buy too. This is fine. Next champ, I think all this looks pretty good. Maybe move Trundle down a bit. Trundle's only good counter pick. At least same concept as these champs. At least goes into high A tier, I think. As you start getting a better understanding of jungle, at least boom, she skyrockets right next to Viego, I think. She's very, very slept on. Her clear is good now. She has very, very strong ganks, good diving potential. I would put her maybe below Viego. I like this a lot. EQ 80 second actually. But yeah, I'll put Viego, or sorry, at least into high A tier here. As you start developing good mechanics, you understand how she's so powerful at diving. Maybe I'll move Gwen down a little bit, because she's just, her early game is so weak, it's hard to pilot a little bit. Let's keep looking at C tier here. Anything I want to change? Maybe I move Brand up a little bit to you start understand how to play him. C tier, pretty solid. Nothing too crazy. These are pretty interchangeable in my opinion. Don't think too much about it. D tier, Darius moves up a little bit. He starts to become decent. Maybe even above Gragas. Into B tier. No, they're both going to C tier to be honest. Okay. Teemo stays in D tier. Mordekaiser, don't play it if you're in the elo. Yeah, Rengar, kind of similar to Kindred. at least. Like Rengar and Graves, they both move up a little bit. I would move Graves. Graves honestly kind of ass right now still. I'll put him C tier for Graves. Rengar, he's an OTP champ. Again, I'd still put him C tier. I'll put him high C tier though. I think these champs, they can be very good if you have the right skill set, if you have the right place, like kind of jungle play style. That makes that, there's no real play styles in jungle. It's either good jungling or bad jungling. But Graves is very good at punishing early game. Rengar is an OTP champ. So I'll put them in the C tier. I would say if you're OTPing them, they can be very good S tiers. Maybe not Graves. Rengar can be S tier in my opinion. I think he's very, very, very powerful, but only in the right hands. Silas, I still would recommend to play. Yorick, I would not recommend to play. Same with Mordekaiser and Shen. Don't play these champs. And I think I should probably move some champs down to D tier. Move Skarner, move Sejuani down D tier. Move Zac. Move Maokai. Move Trundle. Move Rammus. Like these champs, tank junglers like this who provide no... like right now, I think is better to play hyper carry champs. You can play some tanks, but I think just in general, all these champs above the tanks are going to be a little bit better. They're going to provide more value. Pure tanks are not going to be that good in solo queue. I think Broxa, where's Broxa put Sejuani? He puts, yeah, Broxa has the exact same kind of take as me. Tanks are not that strong if you want to carry in jungle. I don't think he has any tank like above. These are all hyper carry champs, literally. I think, yeah, this just wraps up the mid-elo tier list pretty good. Some of these, again, are kind of interchangeable, like C tier, B tier, D tier, they're all pretty interchangeable. A tier, a lot of these are interchangeable as well. This is not, like, it's a little bit from left to right. I don't think it matters too much. Yeah, honestly, maybe you move Viego S. Maybe you move Viego S. I think this champ is, like, really, really chill. I'm pretty happy with that, too. Other than that, I think it's fine. Again, I think Diana, you might be able to move to S. Things like this, I think everything else is pretty happy in A. Yeah, it looks good for mid-elo. Plat to Diamond. Let's do the Master Plus tier list and wrap it up. Master Plus tier list. Alright, we're gonna adjust this one. The Master Plus tier list here. First things first, I think Nocturne doesn't... He's not S plus tier anymore. I think he goes down to S. I think Ivan goes to S plus. I think Fiddlesticks might go S plus. Maybe Nocturne stays S plus, honestly. I might put Jarvan into S plus. I think Jarvan's really, really sleepy right now. Put Jarvan high S. But like he kind of like loses value as you go to higher low, because if you don't have setup, landing EQs could be difficult. I think Shaco is still really, really good. Hecarim is not S plus. I think Hecarim gets pretty good though. Master plus is like very hard to execute though. Viego is very, very high S here in high low. Fiddlesticks moves up above these two champs, maybe even above this. Nunu stays. Pantheon stays. Do I want to put Nocturne S plus though? What did he put? S plus Nocturne, Volibear, at least Jarvan. So Vroxa thinks, is this for all elos? Does he say? Bro, he just, it's fine. Vroxa does a difference. I want to put Viego into S plus, to be honest. I'll put if any champ belongs to S plus with these three, it's gonna be Viego. Pantheon is still S plus in my opinion. I'll put him below Nunu. I think Lilia is still S. I think Dan is still S. Talon is still, or sorry, A. These are all A. Elise becomes really, really strong. Elise is high A. Violet is still fine. Gwen moves down a bit, I think. Maybe Gwen moves down to B, to be honest. I think like actually executing Gwen in higher lows becomes very difficult because your early game sucks. Karthus is fine. Vi is fine. Lee Sin, I think, moves up to high A. Xin Zhao is fine as well. Wukong moves down a bit, says he doesn't have that much skill expression, and just plays Xin Zhao or Lee Sin. Udyr moves down a little bit, I think. Like, I think Udyr goes down to B. Mundo, it goes down to B. I mean, Mundo's OP in certain drafts, man, but nowadays people understand how to counter him a little bit. Last pick here, that's crazy. Yeah, so I'll keep Mundo in A. I'll probably move him like above Kha'Zix. Zyra S plus, bro. Zyra S plus, no? Is Zyra not just like the best high elo champ in the game, or what? Okay, let's finish this high elo tier list for Master Plus. Why are the colors wrong now? There you go. The colors are wrong. There you go. I don't know exactly remember where I was at, but you're on A. So we're on A for the high elo tier list. This is Master Plus. I'm gonna move Yeah, this all looks fine. I like these champs, these first 6 champs. Baveth is fine. If anything, Baveth would move up a little bit. I think she's a lot more aggressive early game. I think she's pretty underrated nowadays. Baveth's solid. Maybe we don't move her up. I think she's fine where she is. Vi is in a fine position. Mundo is in Kazakh's Yi. If anything, I'll move Yi down because he's only good in certain drafts. Maybe he even goes into B tier instead of high A tier. I don't think the hybrid carry auto attacking meta, it's not that kind of meta right now. So Echo, I think Echo is probably better than Kane Kha'Zix. A little bit more utility. Is better snowballing in my opinion as well. The Fury is good as well. I like A tier, very solid here. Let's move down to B. Let's see what we can move up. Talia, I would put into A tier too. I'm curious what Roxa thinks of Talia. Roxa has Talia B tier. I think Talia is low A tier. I think she's really good when you have setup. She has strong full clear. She's very annoying to play against. A good Talia can be very annoying. So I'm putting her low A tier in my opinion. For Master and above, I think Evelyn is going to go down to probably C tier here. I think Evelyn's very useless in high low as people start to understand what she does. Morgana as well goes down. Rumble's fine. Rek'Sai is okay there. Warwick is going to go down to like C tier as well in my opinion. I think Gray is going to go up to B tier, but very low B tier. I still think he's not that good of a champion right now. Alright, that's not funny. Let me time this guy out. Hold on. Right. Warwick's not that good. I'll move Rengar up just a little bit, but I still think Rengar belongs in C tier. I don't think he's that good to play right now. If you're OTP Rengar, you can still make it work for sure. You used to the OTP him though. Gragas, not the best right now. Darius, not the best. Brand goes up a little bit. His full clear becomes valuable. I'll put Briar in D tier as well. A lot of counterplay to that champ. Jax moves up a little bit. He's a good counter pick. Olaf also a good counter pick. Evelyn bottom barrel C tier. Sounds good. All these the rest of these champs look good. I'd move Amumu down to C tier as well though. Amumu fits into the tank position where he's just not that useful compared to other hyper carry champs, which are just a lot better right now in the meta in jungle. Other than that though, I think this looks pretty good honestly. Ivern S plus tier. He's able to set the enemy jungler behind so much. He doesn't need gold to be useful. You can go AP on this champ. Your Daisy can 1v9 everybody. I would definitely put Ivern S plus tier. Maybe Nocturne first like this. I think Zyra is really OP and high though. Having the fastest full clear in the game, one of the fastest full clears, having range. If you play slow and you steal enemy jungle camps, you can create such a tempo advantage no matter what jungle you're playing against. And this way you're just really useful in high low in my opinion. Like when I was in Korea and I played against high low Zyras, I wanted to die. It was unplayable. A good Zyra in high low is just so 1v9, man. Yeah, that's actually so 1v9. It's crazy, especially if you have good setup on your team. With high CC, you have CC chains, it's insane honestly. Yeah, Nocturne I still think it's S plus. Super underrated pick. Like his R is so powerful no matter what rank you're playing in. Even if you know how to perfectly use S key, F keys to track where he is, like you're still gonna struggle a bit in my opinion. I don't have too many other changes. Graves very low B tier. He's only good in certain situations. Rumble I think is pretty underrated. Rek'Sai is just okay. Shyvana is like okay as well. Maybe Shyvana goes below Graves to be honest. Because Graves still has really insane scaling. Poppy's great counter pick. Zed maybe goes up to A tier I think. Like this is at this point people understand how strong Zed full clear is and how to actually abuse it. So I think Zed is maybe even a better Kha'Zix. Yeah, it looks good honestly. For high low, this is pretty good. I don't think I have too many other changes. But yeah, these champs high low are disgusting, man. Zyra, Nocturne, Volibear, Ivern. Nocturne is still so underrated. I don't know why Nocturne is so underrated, by the way. This champ's OP. Other than that though, I think yeah, lots of changes from this tier list and the low elo tier list, but looks pretty good. If you have any differing opinions and you think I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. But other than that, I'm gonna wrap it up here. The 3 tier list for 15-13 patch. If you guys enjoy the tier list, let me know about other. Let me know if you want to see other tier lists for different patches. I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe. If you want to get better hecarim, read Hecapedia.